So in the wake of the renewed Russian offensive on Ukraine, we are joined by Milan Lelich of the Political Observer from
we're having
RBC-Ukraine.
Technical difficulties. We just lost our guest as we were introducing him. That's the way things go here. So now I think we're going to take a quick break and try and get our guest online. Oh no. Well, no, maybe we're not.
Well, okay, let's do this again. So, in the wake of the Russian offensive on Ukraine, we are joined by Milan Lelich of the Political Observer from RBC-Ukraine. Good afternoon, sir, and thank you very much for joining us here on TVP World.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
So we have Antony Blinken in Kyiv today, a surprise visit on the back of this military aid package that is slowly trickling in, we believe, into Ukraine. What are your comments and observations, shall we say, from this day trip?
Well, as of now, we don't know a lot about this visit because it has just started, and Antony Blinken is expected to be here tomorrow at least, and he will also have another press conference, and maybe in 40 minutes he's going to deliver a speech in one of the Kyiv's universities, a speech devoted to world's aid to Ukraine and how to help Ukraine deter the Russian aggression. So I think that these will be the occasions for us to hear the main messages that Mr. Blinken has brought to hear from the US. But I think that the general ones are pretty obvious, that the support of Ukraine going to continue, and the recent decision of the Congress, the approving of the supplemental aid package, it has helped a lot, and it will help Ukraine a lot. This is what we've already heard during the welcome remarks that he made before his meeting with President Zelensky this morning. And what gonna be discussed behind the closed doors, this is surely intriguing. There are a lot of theories circulating in social media and in media here in Ukraine, but as of now, no one knows. I think we all will try to somehow discover what was told there and what behind the closed doors messages Mr. Blinken has brought here, and what are they all about. Maybe it is something about, I don't know, long-term US aid to Ukraine. I think that probably is the big security agreement going to be discussed, and this is what our President Zelensky has also emphasized, the importance of signing this deal with the US, because Ukraine has already signed similar deals with a bunch of countries, both from the G7 and some smaller ones. But still, everyone understands that the US is the #1 military power of the world. So this will be crucially important. What will be inside this agreement that is expected to be signed, I hope, in the course of several next weeks. And also the peace summit. It will be obviously a big issue during Blinken's visit, because our president also expressed his desire that the US helps us to bring as more countries to the peace summit as US is possible to bring. And again, US is #1 power in the world, and it is very influential. It has a lot of influence on many countries, in particular from the global south. And it is important for us that this peace summit that is expected to happen in the mid-June in Switzerland, that it will be not just only West and some countries like democratic countries from Asia, like Japan and South Korea, for example, and Ukraine will take part in it, but also to involve as much global South nations as it is possible. So I think this is what is being discussed and will be discussed tomorrow too.
But just touching on your reference to the peace summit in June, there have been some comments from Germany's Scholz that actually this event, we shouldn't really hang our hopes too high on it, that it will actually just be a little bit of a formality, that obviously a lot of countries will attend, and obviously it should be a bit of a preamble in hope that there will be progress made on the Ukraine front, but that not a lot will actually happen. I don't know whether you can tell us a little bit more about that. Obviously, we would want peace to be reached, but that not a lot will actually happen.
Yeah, surely. I think in this regard, one can absolutely agree with the Chancellor because, yes, everyone who is involved in this process, everyone who wants Ukraine to win, and everyone who wants peace, but peace according to the world order, like rule-based world order. I think that everyone should really use very smart expectation management. I'll put it this way, because last year both Ukrainians and our Western partners has made sort of big mistakes with our having too many expectations from our counteroffensive, which obviously did not reach its goals. This is clear for everyone. So I think that this year one shouldn't repeat the same mistake with the peace summit, because I think that many people who are not that much in this issue may think, oh, this is peace summit. Maybe this is something that will help end the war quite soon, because many nations are at the negotiations table, so maybe it will all be over. So this is like a clear signal that this war will soon be over, which is absolutely not the case. I think that maybe maximum what we can really get from this summit is more or less coordinating the positions, the modalities of the peace process and the goals in the war between Ukraine and its key allies, and also involving more or less different nations from the global south. It will not be the summit where even a draft peace deal may appear on the table. This will not happen by any means, and one should not expect this. This is just not maybe even the step one, this is maybe the step 0 on the way to peace, and everyone should clearly understand this. But we should start this process, because the sooner we start it, the earlier we will be able to get this peace, and peace on really rightful and fair terms, which is our ultimate goal, because Ukrainian leadership has underlined and many times that no territorial concessions, for example, are even possible from our side. No real concessions, nothing that's going to break the rule-based international order. We will never agree to something like this. And I think that the more nations really put their signatures, because this should be, first of all, the leaders' summit. I think not all the participants will be represented by their respectful leaders. I think there will be many ministers of foreign affairs, ambassadors, whoever, national security advisors, who knows, but still this is more or less a leaders' summit. And I think the more leaders of different nations of the world put their signatures under these conditions, that Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity may never be put under question in any peace deal that is possible. The more people sign this agreement or this draft paper or whatever it will be, or at least a communique or something, the better it will be for Ukraine, because it will really strengthen our positions. And again, I emphasize the role of the of the global South nations, because the world should not think that it is only West against West plus Ukraine against Russia and all the world. This is not the case. The countries from the global south, they can also join President Zelensky's peace formula. And again, another very important mission of this summit is to establish once again the peace formula by President Zelensky, 10 points, as the only way to the peace, so that no other strange or weird peace plans appear anymore, because we have already had a lot of peace plans during 2022 and last year, so this will not be the case. It is Ukraine that will decide its future and the peace terms.
Right. Well, we wish, obviously, the best of luck in that, to garner as much support from the Global South and other countries around the world as possible to support the 10-point peace plan by President Zelensky. Milan Lelich, political advisor from RBC-Ukraine, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.